This is the relationships that you need to build, and I always say we go to war together. This club will win again. That's 100% sure. I have no doubts.
The beauty about being in a dressing room is that for what you do, there'll be other players will do as little as possible.
I mean, when he came, I think he changed my career, and for all the history that he had, he has to be.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Inside Carrington. I am joined as always by Liam Bradford, and Denis Irwin has made the journey to Carrington, to this beautiful area, which we're going to call the mezzanine. It's very posh up here, isn't it?
Very posh.
And Den has come dressed, matching the pillows and the sofa. You're all blending in.
Green of Ireland.
I know. How are you?
Brilliant.
Good.
Good.
Good to have you with us as always. Liam, and you're rocking some new lovely clothing.
I think it's the second week in a row I've worn this jacket. I'm absolutely in love with it. I've also got a nice little I Want to Be Adored t-shirt on underneath here as well. This range is absolutely lovely.
It's so nice.
I've also got a bucket hat hiding somewhere, but I thought that might have been Stone Rose's overkill. I think it's just over there. I think Camera Holly can probably chuck that at me, or Photographer Ash, and I'll just show you the bucket hat. Here we go.
It's a really
cool.
I was going to catch that with my foot.
Sensational behaviour. It is a bit overkill, but it's
I think
cool.
maybe not all at the same time.
It might be a bit too much, but it is coming home with me, and I might wear that in the sunshine.
Have you managed to?
I haven't, no, but I'm doing the Isle of Wight Festival this year again, so I might nab that.
Yeah. Do you know what, Dan? You totally rock that as well. The bucket hat or the jacket are you talking about?
Both would be good.
Get the full tracksuit, Dan. Dan, you were last here when Travis Binion was a guest.
Mm-hmm.
A few things have changed since then.
Yeah, just a bit, hasn't it?
Isn't football crazy how quick it changes? Obviously, Carrick has been appointed since then. We haven't heard your reaction to that. It's been a good start for him. How impressed have you been?
I got to say, it's been a brilliant start for him. When you looked at the games that were in front of him, they were far from easy. And different kind of performances in the games we've played as well, by the way, because playing Man City in particular at home, first one in, Arsenal away, you don't get much tougher than that, do you? But I got to say, Michael, the group of coaches, he's got with him. Obviously Johnny, Woody, Travis, who we were speaking to about 2 months ago here, 2.5 months ago.
Who spoke very well.
Steve Holland,
as well.
Yeah, he spoke very well, and they've done a great job. And we've got a lot to look forward to in the coming season. But he's always been a level-headed, steady lad. Obviously, the coaching spell or the managerial spell he's at Middlesbrough. And I'm speaking to a lot of, even Gary Pallister said he was really unfortunate up there because he did an incredible job in the first year and a half there. But a lot of players went from him. That'll have done him in no harm at all, and he's been brilliant for us. But he knows the club, he's dedicated to the club, and I think that's been a really good appointment.
And we keep getting an appearance from Johnny every time we record a podcast.
Yeah, he's already shown his face today
to confirm that I can do top bins.
Yeah, so we need to just discuss this. One of the producer Shep it was, asked whether Helen could play football. I can do the basics was the initial response, quickly followed up with, I can do top bins. Yeah. And I'm not quite sure we can class sticking the ball in the top corner as the basics, but still.
No, and then I do actually just do the basics, and then I can just do top bins.
Right.
And I don't know how.
If the video evidence is shown here, if we can find it, we'll put it on the YouTube. We'll put it on the YouTube.
There's loads of videos because I'm always like, I'm going to get
because
top
I stick it in the top bins all the time. Yeah.
No, I actually do though. I have zero footballing ability, but
except being
when
able
it comes
to
to
stick
top
it in the
ends,
top
I just
corner.
have a really good technique. But yes,
Impressive.
Johnny does keep making...
Need to see it though. Evidence.
Might give Mark Skinner a shout and see whether he needs an addition over on the women's
I think my
team.
time's passed there. Yeah.
I don't know, if you can stick it in the top right-hand corner, I think you might be all right.
Just bring me on for set pieces.
Free kick specialist.
I don't know where this conversation is going.
Special teams, special players.
Oh, I love this.
We did, of course, have Harry Maguire and Aidan Heaven on the podcast last week, and we did have some comments from that. Hegel Mark says, I just love Harry. He's an absolute leader. Jemba has been on the YouTube comments,
I
and
hope
he said,
that's actually Eric Chambers.
Maguire might genuinely be the most professional athlete I have ever seen across all sports. The amount of hate he got, but he just put his head down and didn't complain or moan once.
Yeah,
got his
true.
opportunity and took it, and he hasn't looked back. I think that sums it up perfectly. This comment, again, I will say, he said, it's the most professional athlete I've ever seen across all sports. It's a good shout, Dan.
Absolutely. I think if you go back in a couple of years ago, a couple of seasons ago, the stick he was getting, social media is really tough these days. I know it's part and parcel of everybody's life at the moment, but it's particularly difficult for players who are going through a tough time because you can't hide away from it. It's 24/7, you know what I mean? But what he's come through and where he is now is a credit to the man, really. And you look back and hopefully will regard himself in the fact that what he's been through is really, really tough. And you look where he is now, to the benefit of Manchester United and the benefit of himself. Just fantastic, and it tells you an awful lot about his character, really, for me.
Absolutely. After he healed my friend's dips after the Lyon game, we've got a comment here from Richie Club Sport, said, Harry the healer, love it. I thought thoroughly enjoyed this interview, extremely well balanced. Aidan will learn a lot from Harry's experience. I thought that was quite a nice comment too.
And finally, Be Real says Maguire has to go to the World Cup.
Absolutely agree. Said it to us last week. I can't see past him. He's such an important player. The things that he brings include being a world-class defender, being brilliant in the dressing room, and can also grab you a goal if you need it late on in games.
Yeah, experience as well. I think hugely experienced centre half. Probably, well, he will be if he goes the most experienced centre half in the squad, I'd say. But just the character, you got to bring it in. You spend a lot of time away when you go to the World Cups. In a group, you're 4, 5, 6 weeks away, so you need good characters in that group, and he'd be perfect, really would.
If you're hearing some background noise, above Helen's posh mezzanine is the Carrington reception. So as people are coming in and coming out, there is a little bit of hubbub going on.
It is lovely in here,
it's lovely.
Like I actually
You could
feel
sit
really
here,
at
couldn't
home.
you?
Yeah.
I could sit here and get some work
Nice
done of an
comfy sofa
afternoon.
in here as well.
Absolutely right.
Very nice. So as we said, we did speak to Harry Maguire and Aidan Heaven on our last episode. This week, we have another defender. We love defenders on this programme. Diogo Dalot.
Yeah. I think he's the second longest serving player here behind Luke. Fullbacks, you see.
Before we go on to Diogo Dalot, just briefly, here's a fascinating fact about Luke Shaw that you've just mentioned. Has now started more Premier League games this season than any other season as a Manchester United player. And if he carries on at this rate, I think they're having a party downstairs. If they carry on at this rate, he will start more Premier League games than any other season in his Manchester United career. So he's gone absolutely great guns. And I think that, him and Diogo, providing the balance either side of that Manchester United defence has been really important this season.
Okay, as I mentioned on our last episode, we were lucky enough to be joined by Harry Maguire and Aidan Heaven. We've got Denis Irwin with us, and another defender is joining us, Diogo Dalot. We love a defender on this show, Liam, don't we?
And the letter D, funnily enough. Diogo Dalot, Denis, defender. Off we go.
Dependable Denis.
Dependable Denis.
Yeah.
And Diogo Dalot.
Love it. Shall we welcome him on? Here he is, Diogo Dalot. Inside Carrington is brought to you by United Store. From the latest product ranges to gifts for the whole family, you can find it all at United Store. Diogo Dalot, welcome to Inside Carrington. I'm going to tell you a quick fact. I think you're our only guest to have been on the Manchester United podcast 3 times.
Really? Oh, I didn't know.
Congratulations. So in honour of that, we have got you a special hat-trick ball.
Oh, really?
I could have gone wrong.
I was almost praying that you
But
would
I only accept if I have some signatures.
Yeah, we're
from
going to
you.
sign it.
Okay,
Yeah.
from everyone.
I think we've stolen that from somewhere. I'm not sure we can. I think we'll get in trouble.
You can sign it.
Love that.
It's on me in this one.
So thank you for joining us once
Thank
again
you.
on the podcast. How are you?
Really good.
Good.
Really good. I knew it was the 3rd time, but I didn't know nobody went 3 times to the podcast.
Did you know it was
so-
the 3rd time as well?
Yeah, I know. I remember the first time. I think it was like in the beginning of my journey here. Then a couple of years later, and then now I don't remember which year it was, but it was probably
It
2 or
was
3 years ago.
2023. 2020 and 2023.
So 3 years on the bounce always.
You're a very organised man because before we started the podcast, I always say, do you want me to ask or tell you which questions we're going to ask? And he said, no, I've read the notes. Very prepared man. So training was good today?
Yes, really good. We're
Good.
training really hard. It's always easier to train when you win, and the mood is always a little bit happier. But to be honest, we've been training really hard this couple of weeks. So the level is going up.
Before we go too much further into depth, when we started the new version of Inside Carrington, there was a load of comments basically saying that I look like you.
Really?
Now we're on the podcast together. We can totally disprove this and say that it's absolutely wrong. It's not the case. We don't look anything like each other.
Where do you go from that, Liam?
Nowhere. I just wanted to put it out there that all of you were absolutely incorrect, and Diogo Dalot is a professional athlete, and I'm nothing like that.
No, you're a professional podcaster host.
Yeah, I'll take that.
You've not read the script or anything. No?
I tend not to, Dan, to be honest.
Threw that question
I'll wing
in
it.
there.
Wing it.
Yeah,
better
wing
off.
As you said, it's enjoyable when you are winning. What's the last couple of weeks been like in camp?
It's been good. I mean, it's always tough, and I've been through a couple of these scenarios before, so it's always tough because changing manager is always a little bit of uncertainty. We had obviously two really tough games that can change momentums, can change seasons, and we did really well. So now is the bigger challenge is to go even further, to be even better.
Does it help that you actually know the manager coming in? Is that a help or a bit of a hindrance?
No, it does help knowing what you're gonna get, because sometimes you don't know what you're gonna expect. But knowing Michael from before, I knew straight away there would come up a person that is calm, and he gives you good energy every time. So he's always balanced and playing two difficult games that I'm sure he knows really well that how it is to win against those teams. I think. He knew straight away what to say to us, what kind of approach to have with us. So I think in my case it would help because I already expect what from him. Although we had a couple of years apart, but for others, obviously having someone that already knows the club, that already knows what you have to feel in these moments, it was helpful. Yeah.
I wonder about the other backroom staff that have come in as well. The likes of Steve Holland, who has obviously worked with a lot of the English players who have played for their national country. Jonathan Woodgate that's come in as well. What have they been like to work with?
Really, really impressed with him. I think the experience that they brought, and they came with the right approach. I mean, Steve was in this position a lot of times during his coaching career, so. He knew what to say. He knew the right energy to pass to the players. So, I think the club and Michael did really well to bring them in.
Obviously, you came here in 2019, which feels like a really long time ago now. Age just 19. One of the longest standing players here at the club, and you've played through different managers in that time. How has that shaped you as a player and your experience here?
I mean, if you'd ask me, is the ideal scenario? Of course not. I would love to have probably one coach during my career. I think that's obviously easier, but at the same time, it is also mandatory for you to adapt constantly. But one of the things that I always try to pass and I always try to have in myself is that you cannot change behaviors or the way you try to work depending on the manager that it's in. I think that's the what I've been trying to be as soon as I arrived to the club, trying to be the same guy, whether it's in training or with people, or I try always to be the same. And I think that's one of the things that since I arrived to the club, I always try to be.
I think your diligence, from what we see from the outside, the preparation that goes into it, the way that you look after yourself, the way that you look after your rehab as well, all of that on top has sort of been the real consistent thing about you over the course of your Manchester United career. I wonder whether sort of when you're part of that group now, because of the way that you conduct yourself, how that feels. You know, somebody will chuck you the captain's armband because you are part of that senior leadership group, and all of that has come from that level of preparation.
I think it was something that came naturally, to be honest. You always have, I always say that you're a leader or you're not a leader, you have that inside. But then there's ways that you can improve it. So it's also something that I'm improving on. I'm not changing the way that I am, but sometimes the way you speak to others can be different. The way you communicate, the way you behave can change slightly different, because now people are looking at you in a different with a different role. But like I said, the things that you have inside, that's when you have to put it out and be there every day. And I cannot tell you that I was like this 6 or 7 years ago when I signed. Obviously, I was 18 years old. But ultimately, the thing that I always had and that I always try to be is on the pitch, in training. That's your priority. And then obviously outside, you need to be the best physically and mentally that you can. But the priority is always on the pitch.
What does a typical day look like for you then? Because I know you're one of the first ones here, one of the last ones to leave. You do like to do a bit of recovery as well. Yeah. Tell us what an average day would look like for you.
I always try to keep the same routine. So I come really early. I try to start obviously with, I go down to do a little bit of ice bath, then I go breakfast, then I go to the hyperbaric chamber that we have. I stay there for minimum 40-45 minutes before training. Then if I need to do some treatment or massage, I'll do it. It's not routine, but if I feel that I need a little bit more, I'll do it. Then we have obviously the session together on the gym pitch, and then after training, depends obviously on the training. There are some days where I feel the body needs to adapt, especially imagine like a day like today, we had a tougher session. I like the body to adapt and recover by itself and not give an extra help because we still have a lot of days to the game. But the closer we are to the games, then it's when I do a little bit more work after training.
The beauty about being in a dressing room is that for what you do, there'll be other players will do as little as possible.
And that's the beauty. That's what I love.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes people think, oh, this guy has a good mentality. But define mentality. Good mentality. Good mentality is if you train properly, you don't have to do 300 things before training and after training. It's just that the way I work for myself, that works for me. But you have other teammates that can play 60 games a season and they just go for breakfast and then they go to the gym a little bit and then they go training. That's the beauty of it. You just have to, what I always say is you just have to find what is the best for you. But if you train properly, you can do whatever you want before and after training.
What were you, Dan?
Well, the Cliff, which is an iconic training ground, our old training ground. There was nothing to get in there for before that far, and there was no facilities after to do what you potentially could do. So I think the majority of players would drive across there, do their training, have a bit of lunch and get out of there. Yeah. Whereas here, obviously at Carrington, it's a little...
But do you think that there's always this question of all the players, they always say, if we had the conditions that we have today, maybe I would do a little bit more, but maybe not.
No, I think they are what they are. I think you've said what you are, and if you were at the Cliff, you'd probably do as much as you could do at the Cliff. Whereas there's other players, even in my day, will drift in 5 minutes before training, train, have a bite to eat and do. And Paul Scholes, you didn't do loads. Mm-hmm. But it works for them. And as you said, whether it's 20 years ago or 50 years ago football, whatever works for you.
Was it mandatory then for you to even have lunch together? Or was it a choice?
It was more of a choice. I mean, we didn't have the facilities. Now, this is brilliant, but it's like, I think lads in general like hanging around and just being together sometimes and doing
I think that's
stuff.
The beauty. And I think it was something that these new facilities brought a little bit more. You can see that now players want to stay here a little bit more after training. Like, now you want to be here, you feel good here. So that's one of the things that I think it was what this new facility brought to us as a team, and it's something that I felt, for example, when I was on loan in Milan, where the facilities were not good, but the culture there was for you to want to spend more time here. And if you see it after our close families, this is the people that Bruno, I'm teammate with Bruno for 7 years now. He's the person that I see the most after my family in my life, because I see him every day. I see almost sometimes more than my wife. So this is the relationships that you need to build, and all of a sudden I always say we go to war together. So this is the things that if you add these connections here on a daily basis, it will help you on the pitch.
Yeah, it's very important.
Speaking of Milan, 2 questions on this. First one, we'll start with the fact that you were born 1999.
Yeah.
18th,
What a year.
18th of March.
Yeah.
And literally hours later, somebody on this sofa was playing in the San Siro against Inter.
Yeah.
And that would be you.
Yeah.
What do you remember of that game?
Always tough playing in San Siro. Always tough. Inter had a fantastic side. Ronaldo, the old Ronaldo. Would you class him as the old Ronaldo? I suppose you have to, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Brazilian Ronaldo. He was their top player at the time, but he wasn't fully fit, which helped us an awful lot. And they went 1-0 up, and we won 2 at home, but he managed to score a goal, didn't he, to make it 1. It was an incredible night. But it's a great atmosphere there.
A great stadium. One of the things that I feel more sad about is that when I was in Milan, we had like COVID time, so we didn't have a lot of fans.
Yeah.
But even though I still got a little bit in the beginning where they allowed a couple thousand or whatever, and I could still feel a little bit. But one of the things that impressed me the most was they couldn't go to the stadiums, but before games they would wait for us outside. So they would gather outside. Imagine we were playing against Juve or we were playing against Inter, and the fans were crazy in outside the pitch. And that's when you feel sometimes like, though I used to see videos of, when United was going to play there, or Maldini times and Nesta times, and you could see that San Siro is like mythical stadium, and you put everything together, and then imagine fans, and then Champions League nights. It's one of the most iconic stadiums in the world for sure.
Do they call it the San Siro, or do they call it the Giuseppe Meazza?
That's for Inter, but in San Siro it's for Milan.
Yeah. So same stadium, but 2 different names.
2 different names.
You obviously don't remember 1999. It'd be quite a miracle if you did. But I know you said you do your homework, you do your research. Is that something that you take pride in? You would look at old games of the club's history, look into that a little bit more?
When I arrived, I always, well, I was too young, but I always liked to know what the people that are in. Sometimes we would see, for example, Brian Robson a lot of times here in the facilities, and obviously with the amount of years that I'm here now, I can say that I know a little bit about the club's history and those important moments in Man United's timeline. And 99 will always be. I always associate also with my birthday. That's why I know it's an important year for the club.
Does that make you feel old, Dan?
Very old, but I am.
Not old.
No, but
You're fine.
You're probably one of the longest staying players here now, are you?
Yes, I think after Luke. After Luke, I would be the one of the longest
Tom Heaton,
servants.
I suppose,
yes.
but he left and came back. But you and Luke.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
When you reflect on that time, there must be some incredible moments that you can think about. Is there one moment that you can pick out and think that still gives me goosebumps?
Oh, I have a few, obviously. One of the things that I would say, the thing that I'm most proud of until today is the journey that I've done here. So me being in this position right now where I can start games for United and knowing that I've been through every scenario at this club, being injured for a long time, not being an option for the manager at the time, playing one game here and then, playing 2 games in a row, then not playing again, then starting every game that you can possibly have. So this being able to go through all the phases as a football player made me really strong and balanced at this stage, which for me is, I think it's one of the things that I would feel most proud of it. But then obviously when you ask me this question, there's always this thing about obviously thinking about games and moments. But if I sit back and I see the bigger picture, that's what I would say is the biggest thing for me. But then if I have to think about games and moments, I cannot tell you how emotional I was and how happy I was when we won the FA Cup.
Oh, so good.
We had the Carabao Cup already. We won it, but I felt, even for the fans, the FA Cup was different. And once you realize that, and the way we celebrated in the end at Wembley, lifting the trophy, winning against Man City, have lost the final the year before. This was a very emotional thing for me, and I remember the next couple of days. I think I was in Monaco for the Formula One. I went there, and I had fans coming to me, Diogo, thank you, and I was saying, thank you for what? We won the FA Cup, and it made me realize, okay, this means a lot.
It's weird. We commentated from Wembley that day. Me and Ben Thornley, and Ben and I turn up in a suit. We all turn up in a suit. There was a moment where I was absolutely certain that Manchester United were going to go on and win that, was when Manchester United arrived and they looked like Manchester United at a cup final. At that point I knew. This
is the moments where you have to play a little bit with history also. It's like, even for the fans, for you to see, it's so good for them to remember those times where you go to the games with the suit already. It's just about the standard, the way you arrive to the dressing room. Then we used to say in Portugal, you put the suit away and then you wear the monkey suit to go to work. And that's a little bit of the idea behind it. And even for us to prepare, to know that, okay, you have to wear a suit to a final. Yeah, that means something. That means you arrived there. And as soon as we lift that trophy and we came down those stairs, like again, very mythical, coming down the stairs at Wembley, then going to celebrate again with the fans. It was really, really emotional for me. And it just gives you that feeling, oh, I want this more. I want this again. So it was really, really special.
That must be really refreshing for you to hear, Denis. Because probably the FA Cup has lost that little bit of sparkle over the last few years.
I mean, I grew up in Ireland watching it on TV in Ireland, and it was big because predominantly that's the football they watch. You watch English football, so I knew it was big before I even come across here. But to retain that kind of history of wearing a suit, it does make you feel special. It was just second nature for us because we always wore a suit and all that. But
I thought you were going to say we
were always in a
fight. No, but it was just second nature. But it was just a build up. It was an incredible game. It was a fantastic game to watch. I was down there as well. But I mean, you're saying this. You're only your mid-20s. You got a long way to go. Yeah. Don't worry about that. There's plenty more.
Yeah, I mean that's what I want. Yeah. But obviously, you always. I would say the biggest and the best problem that you have once you sign for Man United is always the expectation. You don't sign for Man United without thinking you're going to win trophies, and that expectation that you have, and then you have obviously a lot of years that you don't win it. But in 7-8 years that I'm in, I played 5 finals. I could have 5 trophies. So these things that still feed that energy of, okay, we still can compete. And I know that you change one of 2 things. You be more consistent here and then. This club will win again. That's 100% sure. I have no doubts. Because then you have sparks, you have moments where you realize, like last year we had that night against Lyon. You cannot explain what happened in there. No. What happened in that Old Trafford when we played the Liverpool, the FA Cup. There's those moments, those things that unless you're in the stadium, special. You don't know how to describe it. How was it that night against Lyon? The atmosphere was crazy. Yeah, if you think it was crazy, it's even more if you were there. So you cannot explain.
I wonder whether there's just one more moment that is probably worth talking about. And I think I'm right in saying that you scored your first league goal at Old Trafford. Is that this season? Yeah. Earlier this season?
West Ham.
What's that like when you get the noise from the fans?
First league at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always had that thing on my mind because I never scored at Stratford End. Every time I scored in Old Trafford, it wasn't the other goal. So it was always there in my mind. I have to score 1 goal at Stratford End. Because again, when you go through Man United history, when you talk about big moments, you talk about Stratford End, you talk about Fergie time. You always go through those moments and you want to be a part of it. Being here for so long, I know I can score goals, and one goal at Stratford End wouldn't be bad. So in that moment, it's almost like you live in a little bit of relief. Of okay, I tick that box, but you also have to enjoy it. And I mean, sometimes you forget a little bit about that part of enjoying it. And that's what I try always to say now. We won against City. We have 3 days. Enjoy it. Because we don't know. Football, obviously, we don't know. This can change in 3 days. This can change in so quickly that you also have to enjoy it. And then you win against Arsenal. You have to enjoy, but not too much. You have to separate. Now we start the week again. You have to prepare this game that comes next. And this is the cycle that you have in football, that sometimes if you are here just in cruise mode, you always forget to enjoy a little bit.
Look, I was in the middle of dry January and you beat Manchester City. I went home and opened a bottle of red wine. I definitely enjoyed it. It was brilliant.
Nice.
Just talking about defenders scoring in the Stretford End. How many did you get in the Stretford End, Dan?
I couldn't tell you. Honestly, I don't.
There's too many.
There wasn't that many. I know probably more on the other side. But
no, I'm sure.
I mean, it's brilliant. It's brilliant as a defender scoring. You know, because I mean, forwards are there; they're used to scoring and all that. So when you score, you should enjoy it. Because it's a great feeling.
How many? I've said this so many times, but how many goals did you get in your career? I only read that last week too, Dan.
I think I got 33 here.
Wow.
So. But I took a few penalties.
I still
took a couple of penalties.
No, first I still have 300 or 400 games more to play. How many did you play? 500 and
500
more?
plus, yeah. Yeah, but I took a few penalties as well. You want to try get on them?
I have, but only on knockouts. I have penalties, but only on knockouts. While Bruno is here, you cannot take it.
Dan, I just want to ask you, obviously you've watched Diogo and you know that position quite well. How impressed have you been with him over his 7 years here?
Brilliant, because I'm sure when you first came here, Portuguese league is brilliant, but this is kind of another step up, I'd say. And you said 18 when you come across. That must have been a big learning curve coming to a different country and getting used to the pace of the game here, because that's probably the big difference, I'd say, between English football and general European football. But like, you've been 7 or 8 years here now. It's fantastic to see, and the game has changed an awful lot, because your full back is probably the way you have to, different avenues of attack is slightly different to my day, where we're bit more defensive. So you've got to be very comfortable on the ball. You got to be able to cross the ball. You got to be able to defend. And you've been fantastic the last 7 or 8 years. I got to say that you've been here.
Thank you. But what I would say is that obviously when I signed, you come with big expectation. You always think that, okay, what is my strength? I always say when you come to a Premier League and do with that young age, you always get a little bit of a reality check. It's almost like, okay, you can be really good forward, but here you're not going forward as many times as you would go in the Portuguese league. So you need to be really good defending. And one of the things that I've actually learned about enjoying and getting pleasure of it is defending. And for you to be a very good fullback, you need to be able to defend. So it's been a really good journey to learn and to adapt to the country. I mean, I would say that I'm completely settled now. I know what to expect from the Premier League and then the country, but it's a very fun game to play and a very intense game to play, which I think it suits me because I like the energy. It's very energetic. I had the opportunity to play in Milan and I always say that in Milan, in Italy, it's more manager's game. So you always have that manager that wants to beat that manager. They have a plan A that wants to beat that plan B. And here it's the player's game. You cannot, after 60 minutes, if it's 2-0 for you, the game is open. There, minute 60, if it's 1-0, it's finished. It's finished. It's going to be very hard for you to break teams and for you to get into low blocks. It's going to be really hard because that's what they focus. Here, you had plenty of examples that minute 90, so you still have a lot of time to play. So that's the beauty of the country and the league, and I don't think it will change, and I hope it doesn't change because that's the beautiful part of it, the uncertainty in results, and that's what gives you even more energy for you to believe that even if you're losing a game on minute 75 or 80, you still can win it. I think that's
Mateus
amazing.
Cunha, 87th minute against Arsenal, for example.
Exactly.
Wonderful. I've just got one more thing to say before we let you go, and that is from a point of view of somebody that works around the club, commentating on games of football, doing the pre-match and post-match interviews. One of the things that Diogo does that maybe goes unseen is that when things aren't necessarily going right, Diogo's always one of those that will come and have a conversation with you after the game and look you in the eye and be honest and really front up. And I think that sometimes the stuff that goes on behind the scenes goes on unnoticed, and maybe fans might appreciate understanding that what Diogo and the leadership team do for the football club is absolutely brilliant. So thank you for always being available to step up.
Appreciate
And
it.
it's appreciated by all of us.
Thank you
Makes
very
your
much.
job easier, Liam, does it?
So every single day, he makes my job a bit easier. No, it's brilliant. Thank you, mate.
No, thank you.
Diogo, sorry, Liam thought that was the end, but it's not. We do
Oh,
have some more
no, no.
questions.
Is there more to
Sorry,
go?
Liam.
So-
But that was
I thought we
going to be
were-
a really nice end
We can
part.
we can cut it.
it's all
And
right.
then
Yeah,
we
that's
put
it.
that
We'll
one
do
to
that. Yeah, see? Saving me again.
Before you
No,
go,
Shep.
sorry, we do have some quick fire questions. You can just give one
I like
answer
it.
to
Oh,
these. The first one is best stadium to play in, apart from Old Trafford.
Best stadium in England or
Yeah.
in England. I like the Tottenham Stadium. It's new. It's like modern. It's like you're playing. Also, you know, when you go to America, these big stadiums, and I really like it.
Best player you've played with here?
I have to say Cristiano. I mean, for the whole package, the way, I mean, when he came, I think he changed my career in the sense of, after I met him, he helped me a lot going through a lot of scenarios here at the club, and even in that moment, he helped me. So the whole package, I would say, apart from the quality and the moments that he had, even the season when he came back, he really impressed me. So, and for all the history that he had, he has to be.
Which United player from the past would you have liked to have played alongside? You don't have to say Dennis.
A lot better.
Apart
than me.
from Denis, I would love to have played with Vidic or Rio as a centre backs. I really like, you know, when centre backs have energy and communication. You know, when we do a tackle and all of a sudden he's there for me too. I like that, and I think they had it. So I would love to play alongside them.
Like that.
What's the one thing that fans would be most surprised to learn about you? Any interesting facts?
Plug
I don't know, actually.
Plug the paddle.
Maybe if they visit my paddles. I'm joking. To be honest, no, I don't have any, like, I'm a very normal person.
Just one that speaks 4 languages. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Maybe if you have you know, though sometimes you have a preconceived idea, but maybe if you see it, we have a chat, maybe you would have a different opinion. Maybe that.
Pastel de nata or bacon sandwich?
Pastel nata, 100%.
Oh, I love them.
Me too.
And the final one is, being Portuguese, what spice would you put on your Nando's chicken?
Big question.
It had to be the peri-peri. That's the most close to what we usually put.
Do you like Nando's?
I like it's
Not the same.
It's not the same. It's different. But if you have to
Medium, hot, extra hot? Where are you?
no, very light.
Yeah.
I'm not
Me too.
a
I'm
very
a plainish.
no.
Plainish.
Lemon and herb, kind of.
No, don't.
Just a
plain.
little bit for the flavor and nothing else.
Obviously, that is like a national dish in Portugal. Which British dish have you adopted to be your favourite?
Probably none, but I've always tried to taste it when they do here at Carrington.
Don't go for a chippy tea on a Friday night.
No.
No.
I've tried the Sunday roast. I'm gonna be completely honest. I tried, but with when you try things with the hope on heart and you say, yeah, let me
Give it a go.
try. But because we also do have not a Sunday roast, but we have something similar where you put the chicken in the oven and potatoes, everything inside. But it's so different. I love it so much. It was really hard for me to like the
What's
Sunday
the
roast.
national dish in Portugal? It's like an egg and
It's francesinha.
yeah.
That is.
I had.
Have you tried when you went to Porto?
When I went to Porto, yeah.
Yeah, they are nice. There's a couple of Portuguese chefs here, isn't there?
Yeah.
And Johnny got them to make them
it's
for
unbelievable.
us.
You have
Egg and
to.
what?
It's
With a
Cheese.
it has to
and
be from
egg
my
and-
opinion. I'm from the north of Portugal, so it's where it's originally.
Yes.
It comes from there. But first of all, you cannot be those caloric freaks where this is too caloric. No, you have to choose one day
Yeah.
Yep.
where you eat that.
It's a cheat day.
and you don't eat
go for
anything else for the rest of the day.
What
For the
is
rest
it?
of the week. Yeah.
It's cheese, egg.
It's like a sandwich,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
inside the sandwich you have meat, you have sausage, you put chorizo if you have
Some ham.
ham, and then on top cheese,
Yeah,
and then fried egg on top, and then the secret is the sauce.
Yeah.
the sauce.
The sauce. If you like the sauce
It
and
was
chips
very
on
nice,
the
I
side,
have to say.
If you fancy a trip to Porto,
Yeah.
I went last year, absolutely unbelievable. But just go and grab yourself a pastel de nata that hot out of the oven, so they're still warm. They are unbelievable. First
a little
thing
bit
in
of
the morning.
cinnamon on top.
Yeah, perfect. And
A
the other
glass
one
of
is
port.
go and have a glass of wine and a Francesinha, or a beer and a Francesinha in the evening. Absolutely incredible.
I'm getting hungry
Yeah,
now.
Diogo,
Sounds
thank
good.
you so much. You're
No,
always
thank
so
you guys.
good
Thank
with
you
your
for having
time. And if we look back at the past podcasts, we'll see you again in
3 years.
2029.
3
Yeah.
years, yeah.
3 years.
Thank you.
The club needs to extend my. All right.
And
guys.
mine.
And mine. Perfect.
Thank you.
Inside Carrington is presented by United Store. Shop all the latest drops of official club merchandise and product ranges only at United Store. 100% official, 100% United.
Absolutely fantastic chat with Diogo Dalot there, who I think did go and get his lunch after that talk about the food. Dan, and I think we were just talking there just after he'd gone. He speaks so well.
He speaks so well, and he gets the club as well. And I understand that he's been here 7 or 8 years, but he actually gets it. He's very dedicated. You can, from what you hear him speaking about, where he comes in early and does what he has to do, and that fits with his personality. But he just gets it, and great to see him on the leadership team, because I tell you what, even at that age, mid-20s, he'd be very, very good on that.
Well, the thing is, in any other job, when you're 26, and we can relate to this, Dan can't, because you'd won about 25 trophies by the time you were 26. But you're a real novice at 26. But in football, it's completely different. And you can tell that by the way he speaks. He's so mature, the way he speaks.
Yeah, and he's been through so much, hasn't he, in
Yeah.
terms of...
Yeah.
And when you listen to that conversation where he talks about having
The
been
journey.
away, and he's been to Milan and he's come back, and he's been in and out of the team, and sometimes he's first choice and sometimes he's third choice, and, dealing with all of that, I think it sort of keeps you quite honest. But I agree with you, Dan. You can understand fully why he is part of that leadership team, because he's taken those experiences, he's learnt from those experiences, and he's used them to make himself a better footballer for it. And, despite what those... And he sort of mentioned this as well, didn't he, about preconceived ideas. If you sit down and you have a conversation with him, those preconceived ideas go out of the window, because there's a lot more depth to Diogo Dalot than I think some people realise.
I actually really enjoyed that answer when he said about the journey rather than specific moments, although he did name specific moments after that, like the FA Cup final. But that journey, I suppose you do forget, he was out for a long time, in and out of the team. You kind of just think currently, don't you, about the last season or whatever, but that is quite a journey that he's been on.
Yeah, and that's why he's learnt an awful lot as well. It hasn't been like footballer life's not on an upward curve anyway. There's always ups and downs, and they always say that injuries are part and parcel of football. But he's had a lot of managers here, a lot of interim managers here. He's had to go out on loan to Milan. You know what I mean? You just never know in football. But he's coming into his prime now. He's at the age where mid to late 20s is probably the best years of your life in football. So he's got them to look forward to.
Would you say, sorry to interrupt you there, that was when you were 26, did you feel your best?
I think you've
20s?
learned, you've done everything in football that football can throw you, whether it's actually on the field and defending positions and attacking positions and things like that, off the field, and just learning about personalities and around the dressing room, managers and all that. I think you've been through all that, and I think that helps an awful lot. But you can see he's kind of a grown up 26, 27-year-old, isn't he? He's very mature. He speaks very, very well. And as I said, he's learnt an awful lot since coming here 7 or 8 years ago.
I've just punched the microphone. That was
I was just going to ask you what you were doing at 26.
What was I doing at 26?
I was working.
What year
here
would that
still.
have been? I'd just try and work this backwards. So it would have been 2010. So I've just started my broadcasting career. That's where I was at. 2009 was when I jumped into that. I was working for the BBC, and then, but that was right at the beginning of a new career for me. So I was,
very
in
green.
the middle of a learning curve. Very green. Exactly that. I think, business owner, runs a business outside of football, as well as playing football, and as being as dedicated he is, speaks 4 languages. It's everything you need to know about somebody like Diogo Dalot, who is clearly committed to not only his football career but his life, and it's good to see.
Next up, guys, is Tottenham.
Mm-hmm.
Always a game that we look forward to. It is a big fixture, but of course it is the closest game to the anniversary of the Munich Air Disaster, such an important part of the club's history, Dennis, and it's always a very poignant game, the one that's closest.
Absolutely, yeah. It's obviously a huge piece of history at Manchester United, and it'll be a sad occasion on Friday again. We'll be down there at Old Trafford, and the way they commemorate it, I got to say, is fantastic from the club. And a big game to come straight after. Really is a big game again.
Mm-hmm.
To those that will be at Old Trafford under the clock, singing the flowers of Manchester at Old Trafford, fair play. They come out in their droves every single year, and the same to those that actually make their little bit of voyage to just outside Munich to go to the memorial out there as well.
It's amazing what they do, isn't it?
To all of those fans, you have my absolute,
absolutely.
best wishes, and thanks very much for continuing to remember it, because it's hugely important.
So as I said, Liam, Tottenham.
Spurs been on a bit of a roller coaster, haven't they, over the course of this
indeed.
season? And I think they're going through a real storming phase of their development as Thomas Frank tries to get to grips, and he's under pressure. There's no real way of dressing that up. He has had a tough time and a tough run of results, and I think what Manchester United will be looking at is get 3 points, come away from that game. They aren't to worry about the pressure that Thomas Frank is under. They just want to try and take advantage of a Spurs side that aren't necessarily, firing on all cylinders at the moment.
No, and they've had an incredible run in Europe as well when you look at it. I think they finished in the top 8, didn't they, last couple of weeks ago. But and then the home form has been awful, dreadful in the Premier League, and they're really, really struggling. But if you look at them last year, I know they beat us in a cup final that, by the way, that we probably should have won, but could be here now and probably wouldn't be able to score. They've just continued that form, really. And it's tough as a manager going in there, because expectations, I don't think they're the same as at this club, but they're still fairly lofty. New stadium, fantastic stadium. I've not been down there, but from all accounts, a fantastic stadium. So under severe pressure. And he did brilliant at Brentford, didn't he, when you look at what he did. But this is different kind of pressure altogether.
And I think those expectations are what making life difficult. Essentially, they want you to play the Tottenham way. They want you to play the Spurs way. And I'm not sure that Thomas Frank's style of football is identical to what some Spurs fans would want their football to be. So I think that's probably causing a little bit of friction as well. The difference, as always, is that if he starts winning regular games of football, all of that noise goes very quiet. Manchester United's job is to make sure that they don't start that run against Manchester United.
Well, guys, let's hope for 3 points.
Yep.
What more can we do?
Yeah.
Dennis, thank you so much
Pleasure.
for joining us once again. It's lovely to have you on. Liam, have a good week.
Thank you very much. And you.
Thank you very much. And to you at home watching and listening, thank you for joining us. We will be back next week again for Inside Carrington. See you then. Bye-bye.